Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
I still don't approve of the title.
And me, John.
Yeah.
Oh, and me, Matt Hagen. Last name Hagen. Matt Hagen.
Well, anyways, we don't approve of this title. I was gonna say, okay, this is how I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, we were talking about our three bears, as in like our three representatives of like, oh, I like something and Matt doesn't, and John doesn't give a damn, right? Or something like that, you know. So we started talking about three bears, and then we were like, well, three topics: love, hate, and indifference. And so, who are the Goldilocks? You, the viewers. You're gonna come in and you're gonna be like,
I thought I was the Goldilocks the whole time.
oh
no?
My gosh,
the viewer?
No.
Oh, I'm all confused.
Is that where you're coming at it? You're like, I want to be Goldilocks.
No, it's just an awkward title. Three Goldilocks bears. Is that what it is?
It's a few. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. A few.
No, it's funny because
a few good men. Yes. Okay.
No. The thing is, though, it's even in the title. The whole like Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Baby Bear, in the neutral love-hate thing. I picked the title from your suggestion. You guys kept on saying three bears. I'm like, all right, I'll work with that. And then Matt's like, I hate it. And then John never spoke up. So I'm like, well, it's staying. I don't know.
I said, no, what I said was, I like that it's a few because then we can always add more bears as the show progresses. We weren't limited to three.
So not necessarily the title itself. You just like that word few in there?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, maybe. Oh, here we go. How about this?
A couple.
We're the few.
Guys.
The few. We're like the View, but manly. A few.
Yeah, that's what the world needs, is like a place where men can get their viewpoints across.
Yeah.
Or should I say few points across?
Oh, yeah, there you go. A few to a kill.
Hate it. Oh, that's usually the way it goes though. Vince pitches something, I hate it, and then John's quiet. So
You
know what? I like a few a lot. If we could be called the Few Podcast, that'd be great.
Few podcasts.
All in agreement, say aye. All right, so I'm gonna go first. Right? I'm just gonna fucking set this off. I'm just gonna cover my hate for a second. I hate. No. I'll word it like this: Rob McElhenney should not act.
You think he should stick to owning soccer teams?
Yeah, Wrexham or whatever the fuck, right?
Yes, Wrexham.
Yeah.
It's like him and
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Okay.
Or just stay behind the camera and continue to write, continue to produce. But I don't think this guy can act very well at all, and it's kind of distracting.
Does he act other than? Well, no. I mean, like, what's he in besides Always Sunny?
His other show, Kingdom of, what was it called?
Isn't there a something quest that I haven't seen?
Epic,
it's on my list.
no.
Something quest.
Yeah.
Mythic Quest. There you go.
Is that him?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's a showrunner, producer, creator.
All right. I haven't seen him either of those things.
Right.
But no, I don't think he's in any movies that I can recall. I would agree that he's the weakest of the three main actors in Sunny. You know,
there's
Charlie
five.
Charlie and Glenn. Well, and he's worse than Danny DeVito, of course. Caitlin Olsen. I like Caitlin Olsen. Yeah, he's maybe the worst. He comes off kind of unnatural sometimes, but I don't know. Should he not act? I think you're being a bit harsh, don't you think?
Not at all. He on his podcast, he even said, "I'm not much of an actor," right?
Well, he's being humble.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, and he committed to gaining all that weight for the
My
show.
God. Okay, yes. Okay,
Robert
this
De
is-
Niro gained all that weight for Raging Bull. He gained all that weight for Sonny. Robert De Niro equals Rob McElhenney.
Rob, I mean,
Robert Mackle. Is this Robert De Niro's
Robert Doe
best
McElhenney.
role? He's actually he's playing Rob McElhenney the whole time. Okay, then all the props in the world. But the Rob McElhenney that I see over the years, and now I love the show, right? And I do love him for creating it. He made the videotape for $15 and a sandwich, or whatever the fuck that show is. That plot, that pilot. He, however, though, is terrible. He breaks character a lot. I don't know if you notice, like him just like smiling when he shouldn't be. The scene's funny, but
I think if you've watched any of their bloopers, I think everybody's breaking character all the time. They're just trying to get the best cut, and sometimes, okay, maybe he's breaking character more often, and maybe that's the best cut you can get.
Well, thanks, Rob.
Uh,
Hold on, there's more. All right, so he breaks character like fucking Jimmy Fallon, right? He's just like
not even close to that level.
It breaks the world. It shatters the world, Matt.
I don't even notice. Okay, I occasionally notice it, but it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I don't know why it bothers you.
Okay, hold on. Breaks character plus let's talk about his weird acting instincts, which are good, but it doesn't matter because he still can't act. In the episode where he gets beat up, it's like a fight club sort of thing. He's like limping, right? And commentary is like, I put rocks in my shoes so that I would, know to limp because I'm hurt or whatever. I'm like, cool, but you're you. I don't give a fuck. Like you limped for like 2 seconds, bro. You know who did it correctly? Bruce Stern from Nebraska. He wore rocks in his shoes because it made sense. He's like, I have terrible arthritis, or the character does, There you go. Right. That's one example of like your heart is in the right place, but you still can't act. He gains weight, De Niro style, right? Or Brendan Fraser style. Well, anyone?
I plan on seeing it. Yes.
Yeah. Looks good. Anyways, he gains all that weight, but he's not funnier. In fact, he just starts to act more like Danny DeVito. Like all his jokes are basically what Danny DeVito does. He's like, hey, we're gonna eat this food. That's all it is, right? And then hold on, I got more. Blackface. The instincts there.
Well, I mean, just blackface in general, right? I mean, that's bad. That's bad. But I mean, I remember the blackface thing being pretty funny. I kind of like Fat Mac. I mean, him wheezing and eating chimichangas out of a trash bag. I mean, I don't know. It was pretty funny. I just think you're being too harsh overall.
I got more. And the final one is he's such a bad actor that almost all of his dialogue jokes are all on the nose. Like when they don't travel back in time, but like in the 80s when they were in that roller rink, the whole time all of Matt's jokes are like, mark my words, Charlie, there'll never be a black president, basically, right? That's the joke. He's just supposed to say what's never going to happen, right? Because you can't trust him with trying to sell a joke in a funny way. You have to give him the most on the nose shit. Like in the D episode where they're trying to trick her into being a comedian, he's like, it's funny because a girl said vagina. You know what I mean? It's all this like, this is the joke. This is Family Guy written stuff for Mac or Rob because he can't act. I rest my case.
Well, I like that last point the most because I've never picked up on that on the nose idea. And I just kind of had some flashbacks. I haven't watched the show in over a year. I went on a little binge. It was over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. But I'm trying to remember back. And yeah, I think you're probably right about that on the nose thing. But again, you're being too harsh. I rest my case.
John, you gotta come in with
Oh
something.
man. I mean, I don't disagree with what you've been saying, but I don't think it comes close to like ruining the show or anything. Like, I mean, probably if he would have auditioned for the role, he wouldn't have got it. But you know, he's a co-creator. What are you gonna do?
I'm playing online. That's what I'm gonna do. and maybe some people will recognize that. I posted something similar on Facebook after I just watched an episode where he's like supposed to be flirting with some priest or whatever, and I'm like, God, this is horrible. Every time they cut to Mac, I'm ripped out of the world, and I'm aware that some co-creator muscled his way into a lead role on a hit show with true talent. The other four, you know what I mean? He just sticks out like a sore thumb. And okay, so this might be telling. It doesn't help that I met the guy in person once. He was stumping for Obama. He was stumping for Obama. Okay. And I meet Danny DeVito. He's a fucking god. He's awesome. I met Dennis, and he was hilarious. And then I'm in line to meet Rob. He's talking to some dude, and then he looks at me, and all the enthusiasm just goes away. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" You know.
So he was talking to some other rando, and he was having an animated conversation with this rando, and then he just went to you and hit the reset button.
No, it's a line. It's like, I don't know if you ever did that before, like when celebrities show up and they're just like, oh, you know, vote Obama, and now everyone gets in line and you get to meet them. They're all spread out, you know, but it's basically a line to get photographs and stuff, and I got pictures and stuff. But yeah, so like I was next in line, and all of it just melted away. He could not give a damn, right? And I've experienced this when, you know, I run into plenty of people and we just do not get along. I could see it in their eyes, and that was it, right? But after that lame interaction, he turns to the person behind me, and it was my girlfriend. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, hey, I don't mean to keep a beautiful woman waiting. You know what I mean? And I wanted to be like, hey, motherfucker, where's Caitlin Olsen? Huh? She would be mad if you said that. And but you're right.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's hotter
why don't you think
than her.
I'm a beautiful woman?
No. I was just, I don't know. I should have said like, yeah, she is beautiful. Get over here. You know what I mean? Walk off. Yeah.
Do you think that's where your hate for Max started? Would you say that's where the dissection started?
I think I was kind of onto it a little bit. I did know that he was the weakest of the five, right? But then after that, well, that was like 2000, I don't know. When was Obama around? When did that
first
happen?
term or the second term? Or
it might have been for the second term. Yeah.
2008 or 2012.
Yep, something like that. So, but I don't know. Do you guys think it's just because of that bad run-in, or am I onto something?
Oh, I think that bad run-in had something to do with it. I have no doubt. You hold a grudge, Vince.
No.
You're like, while nothing you said was untrue, maybe it caused you to have a higher scrutiny on him than you would have if this event did not take place.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason the very first episode has you hating on Mac. I feel like you're dwelling on this, and you have dwelt on this for some time. And it's all coming out right now. And to be honest, it kind of bothers me a bit.
I was gonna add that. I was gonna add that, like, I also tend to want to write. I've wanted to be a writer, right? So when I notice that the writing is off, I'll focus on that for sure. But I also have acted before. I was in like a high school play and shit, right? So there's a craft, right? Even if you don't want to act or never acted before, you should pick up on the fact that Mac is a weak ass actor. And so that I feel like I would have been complaining about that anyways. And I was like, should I throw in the personal experience? But I don't know. It's not that bad, but it certainly didn't help things, I feel like. Yeah. I mean, that's not my origin story. All right. I'm more than that, you know. I just felt like this podcast needed a little personal touch because you guys are saying like, I hate cucumbers and I hate pumpkin pie.
Hey, it's personal. Trust me.
So I came in here like, I'm going to go guns blazing, hopefully get some passion into this thing. And you guys will be like, yeah, pumpkin pie fucked my girlfriend or something like that.
Anyway, though, Rob is a fan of the show. So hi, Rob.
And hi, Rob. Oh, jeez.
Well, speaking of passion, I kind of want to go next.
All right.
I want to get into my indifference. I want to get
real make you more passionate than an indifference. Okay.
Well, it's personal between us three. My indifference is this podcast, Vince. I want to talk about this podcast.
Oh no.
I'm indifferent to the fact that you're taking me out of my comfort zone and you're making me think. It really bothers me.
I don't think that's what indifferent means.
Well, yeah. Hang on. There's some good and some bad here.
It's personal indifference. He said it was personal.
I don't love or hate a lot of things. So a lot of this is a stretch. I feel like I'm in the middle on so many different things. And yet I argue with you and I'll just take the opposite side of whatever you, I mean, it doesn't matter, but you're making me think and I don't like it. I kind of hate that this is going to turn into a therapy session. I feel like a lot of times, airing my grievances and whatnot, but I love that it's a free therapy session. So that's a positive. I hate that I'm going to say a lot of dumb things and it's going to be recorded. That's always a bad thing. So I don't like that, but I do like that I get to hang out with you guys and we haven't seen each other for many, many years. So this is a good excuse to hang out.
Agreed.
And I'll probably revisit this indifference at some point. You know, it's either going to go love or hate. I could stay indifferent forever. I mean, if it's a hate, I'm just going to walk off the show and you're never going to see me again. But if it turns into a love, then I'll maybe put it into a love category at some point. Right. But I just want to tell you, I'm indifferent to this podcast, Vince. Enjoy.
Right.
I am indifferent.
Yeah. Yes.
John.
So we already had a hate and an indifference. So I'll go with my love. And this could be short because I don't know if either of you are into video games at all, but I chose the video game Hollow Knight as my love. It's a 2D, which is the best number of dimensions for a video game, in my opinion. Platformer, Metroidvania style, which means you're spending most of your time lost in the map, going back places you've been before, trying to figure out where to go next. You get like a series of items that unlock new areas, and you can kind of progress that way, and you kind of have to build this whole mental space of where everything is. So you see something interesting you can't get to, you keep it in mind and then have to remember how to get back there later. The artwork is pretty badass. You're like a bug and you're in this bug world fighting other bugs, and the music is awesome. And there's just a lot to find and do in it. Good challenge.
What separates this from, say, the other game? I mean, like, is this personal as well? Do you have a personal story, or are you just like, out of all the games I've played, especially two-dimensional ones, this is it.
Yeah, so like that style of game is probably my favorite style of game, and then they've like just executed the best on it, I would say.
And the whole like mental space, I was like, is this Hoarders the video game? Because they kind of have to do that, right? They're like, oh, you're looking for the 13th stack of TV Guide. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Four books down. Shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like you know where it is, but then you can't get to it until later, so you have to like just tuck that piece of information away, I guess. Plus they have like super hard boss fights and stuff, and so like on that side of the game it's really well done also.
How does it make you feel that either of us have heard of this game before?
I have definitely heard of it, and it's on my Steam. It's on my Steam wish list.
Stop arguing for the sake of argument.
I had to look it up right now, and yes, it's on my Steam wish list. I know it got a ton of good reviews. No, not just good, great reviews. So I had some interest once upon a time.
Sweet. I can only play certain video games, and when I do, because I'm pretty bad at them typically, but like UFC, Soul Calibur, shit like that, I'm like, oh, this is awesome for once, so I'll get into it. So I'm not really much of a gamer, but when I find something, I'll just play forever on it. Is that what, like, are you playing it now, John? Like right now?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like looking away every so often. No, I'm not currently playing it, but I have played through it multiple times. And I think it is like the game on my Switch I have the most hours in.
Oh shit. Wow. You know what? Can we add anything to that? I disagree, Matt. Disagree with him, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I haven't played the games. I really don't know. But yes. Sounds fun. Sounds like it'd be right up my alley. You should see my backlog of video games I have. Okay, I'm in the middle of playing Portal 2 for the first time. Portal 2. And that game's like 10 or 12 years old. Like I
holds up though.
I am way behind, but yes, I'm trying to make it through some classics.
Shit, that's awesome.
All right. Well, let's move on then.
I'll go next with Impartial, and I believe this is truly impartial. Matt,
what?
Nothing. All right, so this funny man Bill Murray is an asshole. On set to other actors, and my question is, I guess, is it worth it?
Is it what a vague question.
Is it worth it to be an asshole for the lulz?
Or I guess I'm looking at it from like, say John, you and Matt, you guys are in the movie with Bill Murray, and he's a fucking prick to you, but everything he does on screen is gold. But he just like he was called Bill Murricane or whatever, because he'll just tear into you. The guy's sharp. We all know that, right? And he could just rip you to shreds. Would you be like, oh my God, do it some more? As long as we get that.
Do it
cash.
to me, Daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, considering I've never been on a movie set or in a movie ever, I would love it if Bill Murray would rip me to shreds. So,
John?
No, I wouldn't like it. I would like go out of my way to just like not rub him the wrong way, if it meant even just like not directly interacting with him, even though I might never have another chance to do it.
Okay, see, that's what I'm kind of getting at, where it's like, I guess Seth Green, when he was like a child actor, he was on, I think in a green room or something like that, or maybe SNL, but Bill Murray showed up and he's like, why are you sitting there? That's my seat. And he picked up. Have you guys read about this?
No.
No. He picked up Seth Green, child star Seth Green, and then put him in the trash, saying, "This is where garbage goes." Now we're laughing right now, right?
That's funny. That's funny.
We're laughing, right? But Seth Green, he wasn't laughing. He was
Never
like,
laughed again.
Yeah. He's like, even on the set of Without a Paddle, he's like, nope, not gonna do it.
So Seth Green was a child. Well, Seth Green is still a child, right? That's a joke on his size. He is a child, correct? So he was like a 9-year-old child, 15-year-old child, 30-year-old child.
There's other stories too, though. I don't know. Have you guys? You've at least heard that maybe he could be a prick.
Well, yeah, I think that picking up and moving people is just a thing that he does. Like, I don't think it. Maybe into the trash can was a bit over the top, but yeah.
So I guess, I mean, okay, well, let's go on to the whole thing of like, this guy's an asshole, but he makes us laugh. And like, I'll forever treasure Ghostbusters and Groundhog Day and shit like that, right? But it is kind of fucked up knowing that he could be just an unbelievable prick to people. So is it worth it? Is it worth it?
But like, I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on like, it sounds like Seth Green went away from that, pretty unhappy with the whole situation. Is that generally the case, or do people take it in like stride, or like what spirit do people seem to perceive it as being in?
Right. Well, like Lucy Liu, the whole time he was like, "Oh, you're a horrible actress," which I agree, and I think I would have been laughing on set, like if I was like the boom operator or the best boy, like, But she was like, he's a fucking asshole and stuff. And I don't remember all the people that have come forward, but it's one of those things that have emerged. And I guess I lump him with like Chevy Chase and like Jim Carrey. Apparently those guys are fucking pricks. So,
well, Chevy Chase, like that's the most famous one, is back in the early SNL days. Those two were butting heads a lot and fighting backstage.
Yeah. Jim Belushi had to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Between those two.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I mean, you hear, obviously he's a legend of sorts, the way he interacts with fans and shows up at parties and washes people's dishes randomly and, all these stories you hear, but I haven't heard a whole lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I don't know. I guess I heard some rumblings, some sort of unwanted sexual advances type stuff too. I don't know. I haven't looked into any of this stuff, but
oh, shit. Was it worth it, Matt? To be groped by the king of comedy.
If Bill Murray wants to grope me, I'll just leave it there.
All right. Well, there we go. Who's up next? Matt, you got something?
Well, let me do a hate here. 'Tis the season, 'tis the Thanksgiving season, and I just want to mention my disdain for pumpkin pie. Pumpkin anything in general. I don't think that's really true. Again, I mean, I just had a little bite of my wife's pumpkin muffin today, and it was okay. It was okay. I don't really hate pumpkin, but something about pumpkin pie, and I'm not a big sweets guy. I've never had a pie that I've really loved before. Something about pie crust. It's kind of hard and kind of flavorless and kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. And then you put this mushy, pumpkin-y filling into the mix, and it doesn't work for me. Pumpkin pie, I've never met anybody else that dislikes pumpkin pie, which is why this is kind of stuck in my brain forever. And it always comes up at Thanksgiving, which is why it's stuck in my brain. So pumpkin pie, I could do without it entirely.
All right. You know what? I believe that. I thought you were just being a fucking...
What? I'm not trolling. What?
All right. But no, I believe that after you said that, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. So is it like you just when was the last time you had pumpkin pie?
A few years ago, I think I probably had a couple bites of my wife's. That would have been it.
So
You
you still
spit it out at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
so you still give it a try. You don't dislike it
course.
so much. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I always give everything a second chance. I'm sure you guys are probably the same. Is there? Well, maybe we should save that for another podcast, huh? But is there something that you've hated that you just will not try again because you hate it so much? I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, and that was my topic. I mean, you can get both of the food topics in if we want.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, so like, you know, when I was a kid, I was very picky in what I like to eat. And these days there's like, you know, there's like some stuff that I don't care for and like, whatever, not for me. But like cucumbers are the one food that like I find offensive in how they taste. Like the smell of them is horrible. Like,
do they even have a smell?
I was gonna say, and isn't it like watery? It's like a watery vegetable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of the most inoffensive to me. Most inoffensive thing. All right, go on.
It smells horrible. It tastes horrible. I don't want it like near my plate. You know,
you don't want that.
The plant itself.
Your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, it's like basically it's Satan's bumpy green phallus. Like I don't need that in my life.
What if I told you
there was a cucumber right behind you?
What if I told you cucumber is kind of the only vegetable that my kids will eat and actually enjoy?
I'm not surprised. Like you said, you think everybody at least, you know, likes pumpkin pie. I don't know anybody else who dislikes cucumber. And like I love pickled things except for like pickles because they're disgusting cucumbers.
Pickles have not, I mean, it's not even a cucumber anymore. There's nothing about a pickle that's cucumber. So I think it's just
except it is a cucumber. I mean, you eat pickled beets or pickled radishes or pickled carrots.
Ugh. What are you talking about?
Oh man, beets are in like my top 3 root vegetables.
Oh man, we're gonna argue for and against beets now. Beets are disgusting, but I think there's a lot of people that don't like beets. But pickle.
If we're talking origin stories, I remember in grade school they used to make this cucumber mayonnaise thing. Like it was literally just like sliced up cucumbers and like drenched in like a soup bowl's worth of mayonnaise, and like they they made you clean your plate at the school I went to, and I hated it. So I would always like shove it in my milk carton and try to like sneak it into the trash. And
was this the Lutheran school that you went to?
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So I do try to eat cucumbers every so often. I'm like, I've outgrown everything else I was picky about. Maybe these are okay now, but nope, they're still horrible and disgusting.
I want to go back to that mayonnaise cucumber thing. That does not compute. I've never heard of such a thing. Do you just eat it with a spoon? Is that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, it's like a mayo or like a cucumber salad or something they call it. But to my memory, all it was like cucumbers and mayo and probably some sort of seasonings. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really unappetizing. So I hate cucumbers now too. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Wait a minute though. Okay, I'm just kind of curious though. What was first, pickles or the cucumber? Were you like enjoying pickles and then you were like, "Fuck you, cucumber," and they're like, "Wait a minute."
No, I never liked pickles. And it was only like later that I realized like, oh, I don't dislike pickled things. I just don't like pickled cucumbers.
Wow. So it was pickles first, then cucumbers. You were like the origin story right here.
Well,
You're
no,
like,
I mean, I never
kill them
liked
while they're
either of them.
babies. Oh yeah. Okay.
But I mean, like, I didn't like a lot of stuff when I was a kid. So I mean, it just to say I didn't like both of those things wasn't saying a lot back then.
Somebody asked me what food I won't eat, guys.
What food?
We'll save it for the next episode.
The joke was that I'm overweight and I eat everything. That's the.
Oh.
Anyways, who's up next?
No,
you're on
great.
video. You're on video. Oh, okay.
Oh, is it me? I don't even know.
Go to you. Go to you.
Okay, now I have. Oh my God, my love. Okay, so this is just. I'll just say it. Lil Wayne's The Carter 3 album. I love for many different reasons. One, I used to work out to this. Well, first of all, let me just say this. I'm not a hip hop dude, really, like barely at all. And I don't even remember why I chose this album or why this artist or anything like that, because I didn't like the Lollipop song that he had out. And turns out that is the worst song on the album. But I fucking did P90X to this song, this stuff, and it's like very weird. Lil Wayne himself, this was a moment in time because his productivity was off the charts. He was releasing mixtapes like crazy, and people were paying him a bunch of money to guest on their songs. And then he finally comes out with his third, The Carter series, and it's great. It's got the picture of the baby. Do I have it? Oh my God. Look at that little cute little baby. Oh, so cute. But it's got tattoos on it, right? But it's like, this is when he's doing all that, he's fucking on scissor. You guys know what that is?
No.
It's codeine.
Negative.
It's codeine and like maybe some Sprite and maybe some sort of alcoholic drink. But it's him drinking this horrible elixir that will eventually cause him to have strokes years later. But when he was on this, he was nuts. His flow, as they say, was crazy. Like it captured my imagination, you know? And so his lyrics were nuts, and he wasn't writing anything down. He was all like in his head. And there's this amazing documentary called The Carter when he just released that album, and is just following him around, and he's clearly losing his grip because he's drinking too much of the scissor. And I don't know. Eventually he stopped it. I think it was after The Carter 3 he stopped. And he just wasn't the same. His flow, in fact, he used to be so dynamic. Now his songs are all the fucking same. He rhymes like this, and then he rhymes like this again. You know what I mean? Like, it's just this clunk, 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 clunk. It doesn't matter what the song is nowadays. He's rapping like clunk, 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 clunk. It's fucking nuts. But yeah, I don't know. The Carter 3, it's just a lot wrapped into what made that album so different and weird and bizarre. And I think that's what it needed, because I'm like, hip hop. But no, this
yeah,
was
so I also am not a hip hop guy, but I did listen to this album in preparation for the podcast.
Did you really?
And I was surprised how like weird and quirky it was. Like the Phone Home song was really fun.
Yeah.
And like I listened to a lot of kind of like electronic, just I guess instrumental music, and just like some of the beats on the tracks were just really good for just having on in the background when you're like working or whatever. But then I did get distracted because I wanted to listen to what he was saying, so I had to turn it off until I was done working. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not super well versed on that type of music, so I don't really have a lot to compare it to. But I definitely enjoyed listening through it.
That's awesome.
Well, the only Lil Wayne thing I know is he's a Green Bay Packer fan, and he put out some sort of green and yellow song.
Yes.
which I am aware of. What did you call that drink? What was the name of that drink? Scissor?
Scissorp, yeah, but it's like liquid codeine, like basically like a cough syrup, sort of. But you need a prescription. Yeah.
Oh, well, if this album is as good as you say it is, I might have to dabble a little bit. But I am also not a hip hop fan. I don't listen to any of that. But the way you describe it, did I say it with disdain?
So dismissive. Oh my god.
But if it's as good as you say, I might have to give it a try sometime. Add it to my long list of stuff to listen to. But a lot of masterpieces, genius works have been created under the influence of something or another. So, scissor, man.
Exactly. I love that. And sorry, John, I did not research Hollow Knight. I think I looked up some images, but that's as far as I got.
Hey, if we need
not even the teaser trailer.
I should have done that. I watched the trailer for Thunder movie or Thunder Road though, Matt.
Oh, well, I watched the whole movie this morning, Matt.
Are you for real?
Yeah, for real.
John is putting in way too much effort. It's stressing me out.
I was downtown working 2 blocks away from my public library. They happened to have a copy of it, so I checked it out and put it on the old DVD player this morning.
Wow.
Which not to steal your thunder, but unfortunately it was very scratched, and it skipped during the part where he was flipping out at all the other officers. So I'm pretty sure I missed something great there.
Nice pun there. Steal your thunder, by the way. I guess that'll go right into me. So I'm going to go into my love, which is a movie from 2008 called Thunder Road. Written, directed, I think scored, starring Jim Cummings. It was his directorial debut. I can confidently say it's the only movie I would call a masterpiece that I've seen in the past handful of years. Something about it really struck a chord with me. I think struck a chord with a lot of people. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I've never heard anybody else talk about this movie, or I've mentioned, like, somebody will ask me, seen any good movies lately? And I've brought this movie up to several people before and nobody's even heard of it, let alone seen it. And I've always recommended it to anybody. But essentially it's about this very emotionally scattershot man who, the opening scene is he is at the funeral of his mother. So his mom dying, I mean, he's probably like 40 years old, but his mom dying sets him on this sort of downward spiral where his emotions completely get the best of him. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and it's sad and funny and tragic and dramatic. And it's just a ball of emotions. And I've never seen anything like it. And it's got a definite indie spirit, and everybody should see it. I think there's a lot to relate to in this main character. Now, I'm going to say my wife did not like it because she just did not like this guy. Because he is sort of an anti-hero. He's a pissed off, egocentric jackass a lot of times, but he's got a heart, and he has a good heart, and it shines through. And I just think there's a lot going on in that movie. It's a short watch. It's an hour and a half. And that really turned me on to Jim Cummings. There's a couple other movies, The Wolf of Snow Hollow and The Beta Test. Both are very good movies. Beta Test just came out last year. But Jim Cummings is a dude to check out for sure. I am totally impressed with him. Oh, by the way, I got it written down here. Thunder Road won the South by Southwest Grand Jury Prize for narrative feature and a couple other awards, Grand Jury Prize at the New American Cinema Competition, a couple other things. But it is a movie I have never really heard mentioned. And actually, the first time I heard about it was on the Comedy Bang Bang podcast. Scott Aukerman is a big fan of this, and he's brought it up a couple times on that podcast to a couple people. He says he's a big fan of it. So I don't know. Check it out.
Scott Cummings, does he break character sometimes?
Jim Cummings, but
Jim Cummings, whatever the fuck. Does he gain weight for no reason, thinking it'll be funny?
all right. So, I don't know. So I've listened to every single Comedy Bang Bang episode, and I don't remember them talking about it. But even when you brought it up, I heard Thunder Road, and all I could think about was Mad Max. Like I was like conflating the Thunderdome and Fury Road in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anytime I've ever heard somebody talk about Thunder Road, I just thought they were talking about Mad Max.
I have actually had the exact same thought when this title comes up. I exactly the same thought. But
I have a question though. Okay, so I'm kind of a nitpicker when it comes to movie titles. Why Thunder Road?
so the opening scene at his mom's funeral turns into this big, sobbing, dramatic mess, just highs and lows, just it's all over the place. But he's up there in front of this group of 50 people or whatever, and he wants to sing, I think it's his mom's favorite song, which is Thunder Road, Bruce Springsteen. So he gets this little boom box. He borrows his daughter's boom box, and he sets it up there, up in front of everybody, and he wants to hit play, but he's having problems with the boom box and stuff like that. So eventually he turns to a cappella, and he starts singing Thunder Road, and that's where
Does he even sing, or does he just dance to it like he would have had the music been playing?
Good question. I guess I don't remember exactly. I think there's a short that the movie is based on as well, and I think he sings in the short, but I don't remember exactly. But he makes a big fool of himself for sure.
Yeah. So I was watching the movie, and I have no idea what to expect. Like I knew the name of it, and I knew there was a cop on the cover of the DVD. And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, not that far in, but I'm like, wow, like how like out there is this movie going to be? Like, is this going to be like that episode of BoJack that it just all takes place with him giving the eulogy for his mother's funeral? And I was kind of relieved it moved on from there, but I was like, wow, they can keep this going for like over an hour. That's but no, I would highly recommend the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Shed a couple tears throughout.
I honestly did too. There's really uncomfortable laughs. It gets dark, but it's very heartfelt. Like, again, this dude wears his emotions on his sleeve. Like, he breaks down and cries several times throughout the movie, just seemingly out of nowhere. But it's really well done. Tone is managed incredibly well. Check it out.
Wow. Yeah, I think I will. I'm the odd one out. And I claim to like movies, and I wanted to write that. That's great. I think is that all our loves and hates and indifferences? And
I have an indifference left.
Oh, right.
And it's more of ambivalence. Is that fair?
Yes.
I think we should be able to make this category whatever we want to.
Yeah.
I'm putting my flag in the dirt on that.
All right. So mine is, I don't know how to feel about large corporations having funny social media presences.
Okay. Oh, well, what? Go on, because I have something. It's not quite social media, but it's commercials.
So like when Wendy's is tweeting at Burger King or something, making fun of them, or or like, I think, I don't know, like, well, I can go both ways, but I don't know, just like.
Is it usually Twitter that this happens? Like, I've seen some of this. I think it's Twitter.
I think it's usually Twitter, yeah. Where like the reason I'm torn about it is because like some of the stuff is like genuinely funny, but then it's like, the companies behind it are, typically large corporations doing horrible things to the environment, paying all their workers minimum wage or less if they can get away with it and all that stuff. So I'm like, should I feel guilty for enjoying this? And
I really don't see it as any different than seeing a funny commercial on TV. It's another way to market, and it's reaching a certain audience. I mean, I've laughed at some of this stuff before, especially I think Wendy's is kind of the classic example. I think there's been a number of Wendy's tweets throughout the years that have been pretty comical. I don't know. Again, I enjoy it as much as a funny commercial, so I don't have any problems with it.
Well, okay, so it's not the big fat cat honchos that are saying like, say this to the people. They fucking hire some goon, or maybe the two of you, and they're like, Matt, John, make it funny, say something to the people, we'll pay you for it. Just tweet out a little thing, say like, hey, fuck you, Burger King, shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's not them at all, but I don't experience too much of that on the Twitter point of view. But commercials, though, I don't care for how much progressive commercials there are. The insurance company Flo, but it's not just her, right? It's like the Gecko, right? Oh wait, no, that's Geico.
That's Geico.
but the fact that these insurance companies have so much money that they create a series of commercials, and we all know Flo, and it's not like she's the only girl. There's also like Timmy or whatever the fuck that little guy is. And like they'll give her a story of like meeting her sister, and she talks to her sister, and they'll have this little back and forth. It's well written little comedy thing. But I do get bothered by the fact that it's steady output of these commercials, where like back in the day, I remember they would rerun one commercial and that's all they would have to do. Now it's just fucking steady. And I feel like I have taken a stance, and I don't own insurance.
Right, but I mean, the fact that it's insurance is a really good point, because like originally insurance was like, hey, bad things happen sometimes, but not all the time. What if we all pool our money together, and then we can share the cost of bad things happening? And they're like, yeah, but also, what if we charge way too much and then take that money to get more people to buy into this?
For sure.
Well, I mean, this is just going to turn into a whole grievances against corporations and and
well, yeah, but I mean,
profit
to be fair,
margins
that like my whole ambivalence about this was because they are corporations doing this.
I mean, funny's funny. It doesn't bother me. If that's what we're going for, it doesn't bother me.
That's fair. I mean, if they're gonna, I mean, as far as like wasting money of their customers or whatever, like throwing out a tweet every now and then. Is
well, actually,
very minor.
It's interesting this topic came up because we got the whole Twitter controversy going on right now, where Elon Musk took over and you got to pay for the blue check or whatever the hell's happening. I'm not following it exactly, but all of a sudden people are verified as these companies that aren't these companies, and they're putting out these tweets. There was, I forget the pharmaceutical company, but somebody tweeted out insulin's free from now on, or whatever the hell it was. And all of a sudden that's retweeted like 100,000 times or whatever, and it turned into a gigantic mess. But I now that's funny. That's funny.
There was a Pepsi. Someone was like, "I'm Pepsi, right?" And their tweet was, "Coke is better."
Yeah, this whole Elon Musk thing is pretty comical. It's going to be fun to watch.
Matt, judging from you don't care because it's funny. Bill Murray commercials. Maybe if Pumpkin Pie could just fucking say a couple of lines every once in a while.
Maybe if someone threw that pie in someone's face every once in a while.
Yes, there you go. Matt, that's what you got to do. You got to smash it in someone's face and eat it off their face.
I'm not against it. I mean, yes, I can put myself in somebody else's shoes. Yes, what Bill Murray is doing is not good. I can leave it at that. But hey, if Bill Murray wants to be an asshole to me personally, I think I'd kind of enjoy it, at least for a little bit anyway.
You're like one of those guys in military school or in the military where the drill sergeant is just like, Matt, what the fuck is it? And you're just like, you're like laughing the whole time. That's you, Matt. That is you.
No, I would probably take that way too personally. Although if you're in the military, I think you kind of know what you signed up for. I think that would be expected. But I don't think they do that anymore. I don't think there's well, I don't know that they really do that anymore. I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
What's the name of the drill sergeant in Full
Metal Jacket?
There you go, the Kubrick movie. What's that guy's name? Like he made a career out of doing that, didn't he? Just being that loudmouth asshole.
Yeah, to the point where like, you could be in like SpongeBob or something, and everyone would know what's happening.
Love it.
All right, guys. I think that is the show. We've aired all our grievances out, and we've put our heart on our sleeve like a pack of smokes. I
think we got just over a minute here. I think we should ask. I mean, if people have opinions on, we don't we haven't purchased Zoom yet, so I kind of want to try to make this 45 minutes just so we don't run up to so we don't run past the normal 45 minutes for the free Zoom. So if people have opinions on that, I would like to hear. I think it would be cool to try to scattershot this and get this done in 45 minutes, but that's just me. You probably have another opinion, Vince, huh?
I just want people to like, subscribe, comment, because this was
smash that bell icon.
Yeah, because this was a few. What is this? A few podcasts more. What is it called? That'll be it. That'll be it. Yeah, fistful. No, a few has to be in there, John. So anyways, this was Vince signing off. Say your goodbyes before it cuts out.
John.
I'm Matt.
Bye.